Behind the back! Are you serious?
No hesitation on the shot. Mizrahi's feeling it. Make it 3 for 3. And Ciolino, see you later. Here's a chance for Sias, and there's a shot and a goal.
Will Spare will take it all the way. Touchdown Seahawks.
The extra look and the goal. A gorgeous goal by From the MAC Sports Complex on the campus of Hofstra University, it is a CHSAA Class AA semifinal number 1, pitting the Lions of Bishop Loughlin, who come in with a 15-11 record, against the Crusaders of Archbishop Stepinac, who are 25-3. The CHSAA Class AA semifinal is presented by Maspeth Federal Savings. Dylan Butler here with John Perez. And John Perez, it's the Final Four in the Big Boy Catholic Division. 3 teams we thought would get here. We weren't sure about a young Loughlin team, but they're here as well, kind of looking to upset the apple cart a little bit here tonight.
Yeah, Loughlin, one of the more has a lot of notoriety in the Brooklyn Queens AA division. Always chomping at the bit, always knocking on the door of the title and championship bout. But, you're right. This is a Loughlin team that, although very inexperienced, head coach Ed Gonzalez said that at the beginning of the year. He just said that he loved the talent. He enjoyed coaching this crew and thought that they would be something special. And he envisioned this team being in this spot here tonight. Yeah,
Bishop Loughlin defeated Holy Cross. Got off to a slow start. It wasn't the best game that Loughlin could have played, certainly the last game of our quarterfinals on Sunday. 77-61 win in that one. Christian Jeffrey had 19 points. Day Kaba 13, Christian Joe 11, Jakai Sanders with 10 as well. Again, it's a very young team, right? A lot of sophomores, and that's kind of where we're going to look for an impact player, because Christian Jeffrey was phenomenal in that one, especially in the second half when things were a little bit hectic. To have Loughlin pull off an upset here tonight, he's going to have another huge game.
Yeah, and Ed Gonzalez sees him as an upperclassman, not this young sophomore that everybody on the outside is pitting him to be. Having said that, though, you're right. Every time Holy Cross made a run, got it down to 7-5, Jeffrey was there to get a rebound, to make the right pass, and, of course, to get a bucket. And I expect the same thing from him tonight. He's a guy that is pacing the Lions this year and is doing a very good job, not just on the offensive end, but also the intangibles.
Archbishop Stepinac comes in as the favorite, and arguably the favorite to win it all, right? Because they took 2 out of 3 matchups with Cardinal Hayes this year, and they defeated St. Francis Prep. They also beat Bishop Loughlin, right? So they have wins over everyone who's remaining in the field, and they really kind of, again, after maybe a little bit of a slow start against St. Ray's, they really lit it up. They won 86-51 in that game, and we saw 8 different teams on Sunday, right? A lot of high-end players, a lot of big-name coaches in the building. Nobody looked better to me on the day than Boogie Flant. He was absolutely unbelievable. 33 points. And check out these numbers too, John. 12 of 16 from the field, 6 of 7 from 3, 3 of 3 from the line. Efficient and effective.
Yeah, and he knocked down 4 threes in the first quarter, and Stepinac cruised. Listen, there's no reason not to believe that Stepinac is not the favorite in the CHSAA AA. They've won 21 games this year. They've got the most depth. They've got arguably one of the best players in the whole city, and you could make that case. And if you want to have that debate with Toby Owaka, that's fine. But Boogie Flan, there was nobody playing better than him on Sunday afternoon, and he's going to be the reason why Stepinac goes as far as they do this year. But it's not just Boogie Flan. You go down the list as well. It's a very potent offense. They play well defensively. It's a team that's bought in, and they are a matchup nightmare for anybody that they face.
In addition to those gaudy offensive numbers, Boogie also had 7 rebounds, 2 steals. Isaiah Alexander in that game had 14 points, 5 rebounds, 3 blocks. Joel Baez, 8 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. And Sam Gibbs, who I just love his overall game, had 7 points, 13 assists, and 7 rebounds in that win over St. Ray's. So an impressive performance for a Stepinac team that is looking to obviously not only get back to the championship game, but win it again, as they did in 2018.
Yeah, this is a Stepinac team that Pat Massaroni's done a phenomenal job with the talent that has come through the door, and he's gotten them to the big stage. You mentioned, and I just want to piggyback off of Sam Gibbs as well. An efficient player, there's no other reason why they don't call him King Sam or Captain Sam, as you will. Wasn't getting it done offensively, but you mentioned setting up his teammates for success, did a good job on the glass. He's going to be the glue guy and the X factor to watch today.
Let's take a look at our starting lineups. First for Bishop Loughlin, and again, a lot of youth in this lineup. We've got Ja'Kai Sanders, the sophomore, averaging 15.1 points a game. Christian Joe as well. He's the senior, the leader, the guy who's going to try to guide these young Lions. Christian Jeffrey as well, the sophomore. Day Kaba as well. And Jareem Eason is a senior who has been shooting the ball really well. Went 7 of 8 threes against Holy Cross, not in the semifinal, quarterfinal game, but in the regular season as well.
He's their X factor. He's the guy to keep an eye on for, because if he's hitting his threes, it's going to be a long day for Stepinac. And this is a Bishop Loughlin team that might not have the depth that Stepinac has, but they give any team that they face fits.
Head coach Ed Gonzalez, 1981, graduate of All Hallows. Eddie is in his 13th season as head coach of Bishop Loughlin. We'll take a quick break and we'll get you the Stepinac starters when we return. You're watching the CHSAA Class AA semifinals presented by Maspeth Federal Savings on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. Varsity Media has all your Catholic League basketball coverage starting this week.
Attempt, rims out. Oh, the putback! Jackson! Here comes Briscoe. Showtime!
On Thursday, it's the Long Island Girls and Boys Championship games from Hofstra. Friday, New York City Class B and A boys from Monroe College. On Sunday, City Boys AA quarterfinals from Hofstra, plus semifinal and championship games in City Boys AA, Wednesday, March 9th and Friday, March 11th. Nobody has you covered more than Varsity Media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch all games free on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Over the middle, he's got a man. It's complete. Ciolino. See you later.
Going long, wide open, Perazzi, he gets it, Perazzi, foot raise, 10, 5, make it, touchdown, punch, counter punch.
The trickery, Ryder gets it back, goes over the top for Haberman. What a catch!
Just Ross Simmons strips him, that's loose, and Ross Simmons is going to take this the other direction. Make it! Touchdown! Touchdown East!
Parents and athletes.
Welcome back to the MAC Sports Complex on the campus of Hofstra University. The Code of Conduct, National Anthem has been played, and we are just about set for the tip of the first of two CHSAA Class AA semifinals. Dylan Butler here, John Perez. We promise you the Stepinac starters, and we'll bring them to you now. It's incredible to think, too, this is a backcourt, John, that should, obviously they stay at Stepinac. They're going to be there for a few years. Danny Carbuccia, he's just a freshman. Boogie Fland, he's just a sophomore. You see the glue guy, right? Sam Gibbs there. Joel Baez, he's a senior as well, as is Isaiah Alexander. As good a starting five as you'll have in the Catholic League this year.
Absolutely, no doubt. And it's not the first time either that Pat Massaroni has had a young backcourt. Of course, you look back at what's going on now at Tobacco Road, R.J. Davis and A.J. Griffin. Had R.J. Davis on the team as a freshman as well, got 4 good years out of him. And Carbuccia and Fland, 2 excellent guys in the backcourt as well. They're just fun to watch, and I can't wait to see their progression in the future.
You mentioned Pat Massaroni. He is the head coach in his 7th season, a 2006 Archbishop Stepinac grad as well. Associate head coach Rodney Swain and assistant coaches Al Shepard and Alexis Nunez.
Officials today, Mike Evans, Joseph Carbisione, and Kevin McGuire, a good veteran crew. Good officiating over the weekend as well. I thought it was very professionally done. All the games ran pretty quickly. All the games were decided by the players, not the officials, which was good to see. That's in their code of conduct as well. So those will be the Zebras tonight for the first game.
So this is the first matchup, and again, at 8 o'clock, we'll tip off the second, featuring St. Francis Prep, the Brooklyn Queens #1 seed, against Cardinal Hayes, the New York #2 seed. So kind of interesting how that ended up happening, right, where it's the 1 and 2 in both diocesan, and it should be a lot of fun, both of these games, and obviously the winners advance here Friday night, 8 o'clock, for the big title.
Yeah, and you could make the argument that any one of these 4 teams can win the city championship this year. There's no reason not to believe it. And, you look at Bishop Loughlin, a young but very talented team. They don't have the depth that Stepinac has. Stepinac, I guess if you're going to compare them to a baseball player, they're a 5, 6, 7-tool player in terms of the roster that they have. And then it's St. Francis Prep running roughshod over Brooklyn Queens, as well as Cardinal Hayes doing a good job in the Bronx. Of course, the 2 losses to Stepinac this year, the 3 losses, 2 in the regular season, Hayes losing to Stepinac.
Now, Bishop Loughlin, in the lone meeting this year, lost at home to Stepinac, but that was a 2-point ball game. So that's something, too, to think about here, right? Like, Stepinac clearly the favorite, but that's a tight game, right? And yes, it's on the road. Yes, it's in Brooklyn. But I think that's something probably Ed Gonzalez had reminded his guys that, listen, we're right there. We were right there with them last time as well.
Yeah, and that's what he told them in the middle of this year when the team is kind of hanging its head, as young teams do. You guys are right there. There's no reason to believe that we won't see them again. Well, we're seeing them tonight.
Opening tip goes to Stepinac. They're wearing the whites. And already you can see Ja'Kai Saunders getting into the passing lane to deflect that pass away from Boogie Fland.
Sanders just has a huge athletic build, and he can cover space and has a good wingspan as well, somebody for his size. He's only 6'3", but he'll usually guard the other team's best player. He gets Boogie Fland on the first assignment.
Carbuccia finds Gibbs, looking for a backdoor cut, now faces his defender, fakes it inside, foul line jumper, back rim no good, and the rebound goes to Jeffrey.
Like the shot from Baez there. That's been more of his game. He's been working elbow extended, can knock down the 3, but Stepinac player, they have a ton of players that can do a lot of good things. Nobody really excels in the one good area, and that's been a big reason for their success.
Sanders was fouled going up. Foul was called on Baez. So already our first trip to the foul line. And it is Sanders.
Sanders, a guy that Ed Gonzalez in the beginning of the year was very high on, but Sanders wasn't high on himself. And Gonzalez putting the confidence into him. He's worked on his shot, has done a really good job with his footwork down low, and he's been an integral part to Loughlin's success this year.
Yeah, 15 points per game, misses both of the free throws. There's Carbuccia. Interesting here for Carbuccia, right, because he earned a lot of playing time. Mostly, you'd have to argue, because Flan was out with that back injury for half the year. There's Gibbs for 3.
Well, there's the depth right there as Gibbs is able to can the corner 3. And you're right, Dylan, but the good thing about Stepinac, it's always been next man up, and Gibbs was another guy who stepped up in Flan's absence. Not obviously playing his position, but trying to bring that offense back.
Easton's shot was long, and here comes Carbuccia in transition. Drives, scoop, layup is good. And that's the thing, too, that Massaroni told us is that he will earn a lot of playing time or get the playing time early and will deal with some of his maybe freshman mistakes, if you will. But he'll be better, and the team will be better when Flan comes back in as well. Jeffrey denied down low, and here comes Boogie, transition layup.
Love the awareness out of the freshman as Gonzalez calls a quick 30-second timeout. And, that's one of the things about putting your freshman on the team, on the varsity, as Flan is just a nice little kiss off the glass to give Stepinac a 7-0 lead 2 minutes into this contest. There's a lot of risk, right, when you're bringing up an underclassman, especially a freshman, to the varsity squad. And if they're up on the varsity, that means they're going to play. Because if not, you're not going to rot them on the bench when they can play in JV. So having said that, good awareness by Massaroni, the rest of his coaching staff, to recognize the talent of Carbuccia. And you know what? It's good to just throw him into the fire, and he has flourished.
He certainly has 11.5 points a game for Carbuccia and had an incredible summer as well, right, on that all FIBA 16U Dominican team. Mm-hmm. So incredible experience during the summer for him. And yeah, listen, he was the guy until Boogie came back in. And then you always kind of worry, I think, if you're a coach. I mean, coaches worry anyway, right? But you always kind of worry, well, like what's their balance going to be like now, right? When we insert a major star like Boogie Flan. But clearly Stepinac has thrived with both in there as well. Traveling violation called on Bishop Loughlin.
Yeah, and that's always a concern for these coaches, but at the end of the day, that's their job, and it's to incorporate two talented pieces like that into the offense, and that's something that Stepinac has done.
Listen, it is true in the NBA, and it's true in high school as well, right? You got to manage. Here is Carbuccia. And what a start early on for Stepinac, a 10-0 lead.
Love the three-point spot goggles as well after. He just plays with so much swagger, playing well above his years.
One of the things that has impressed me so much with Stepinac this year is, yes, we know they are talented, and they are as talented as they come in the Catholic League this year, but they play on both ends so hard. And you can see the defense right now, 2 on the shot. That shot was deflected on the way in, and here comes Carbuccia in transition.
And that defense didn't give Bishop Loughlin any good looks.
Oh, Flan again, picking up where he left off with 33 in the quarterfinals. He's already got 5, and it's a 13-0 lead for the Crusaders.
Yeah, stuck 4 threes in the first quarter, and it was bye-bye baby for Stepinac against St. Ray's.
Foul on Flans. His first, the team's second. First sub for Bishop Loughlin. Jaden Gamery checks in. Kind of spark plug guy off the bench.
Yeah, Gonzalez loves his confidence, and he's not afraid to bang down low with the bigs, even though he's only 5'9".
Joe pulls up baseline. That's long, and here is Gamery.
See, right down low with with 2 of the bigger guys and still going up against Baez.
Yeah, so much of what this was Gamery's extra effort. Foul was called, and here you see it again as Joe will go to the line.
Yeah, there's Gamery, picks it from Baez, throws it up over Gibbs, and just working hard. And Christian Joe to the line.
And his first free throw was off. So 0 for 3 to this point from the line for the Lions.
Yeah, they just need to see one go through the hoop.
Second is good, so there you go. The Lions on the board. Let's see what that does maybe for their confidence a little bit now. Flan to Carbuccia. Attack the glass. Flan picks up the loose ball, pulls up. Missed that shot. Didn't miss many in the quarters, that's for sure. Loose ball. A jump is called and will go to Bishop Loughlin.
But did you see who the first person was to the floor? That's Gamery, coming off the bench, providing that spark. right there, doing a good job for the Lions. And there's only so much that he can do. Now the team has to focus on rebounding and doing executing in other areas.
Gamery hands off. They'll go inside. That's where they double. Put back attempt, no good. Another opportunity for Kaba. Loose ball picked up by Fland. Gibbs. 3 from Carbuccia. Off the mark. Offensive rebound, though, by Alexander. And another jump ball called, and it will stay with the Crusaders.
And that's what that Stepinac defense does to you. Kaba never looks comfortable posting up down low, and there's Alexander just out-muscling 2 bigs down low and getting the jump ball.
Gibbs to inbounds. Kicks it back out to Carbuccia. Harassed there by Gamery. 0-on-0. Fland, open 3. Bang! You can't leave Boogie open.
That was a no-look pass. Carbuccia knew that he was there and didn't give him the best pass in the world. Nonetheless, for Boogie, he was able to stuff it.
16-1, the lead for Stepinac. 3:02 left in this first quarter. That has been all Crusaders. Jeffrey misses one at the rim. Gibbs goes the other way. Carbuccia for 3. Missed the mark. And now Sanders goes the other way. Fantastic pass inside, and Kaba finishes. It was 30.
Yeah, Micaiah Moore, a good backup center for Bishop Loughlin. And, Bishop Loughlin needing to clean up some areas on the glass, and you could see his size playing a factor in that last rebound. But Loughlin needs to score as well. They got to do everything right now.
I do like at least that they're getting to the basket. Gibbs tucks it under. Good first step by Flan. The extra pass out top for Alexander. He pulls up, in and out.
You just can't surrender those long rebounds because a team like Stepinac will make you pay eventually.
Joe. Big bucket for Joe. He's got 4 of his team's 6.
Well, and that's the thing with Loughlin, too. They can turn on the scoring like a faucet, like a sink faucet. And, for Stepinac, obviously you can't let them get hot. But for Loughlin, they're going to need to knock down some shots and stop Boogie Fland.
That was off the back foot. Here comes Loughlin in transition. And an easy layup by Joe results in a timeout for Stepinac.
Well, and a good timeout there by Massaroni. I don't think he liked his team not getting back on transition defense as well. But for Bishop Loughlin, you can never count them out, cutting the lead in half and doing a good job down low. And the super subs coming on to spark them.
Yeah, 16-1, right? So a 7-0 run right now for Bishop Loughlin. And you can see the conversation there with Pat Massaroni and the Crusaders. And what a job that he's done, too, and just getting Stepinac over the last few years right into that elite level, right? Like, we've talked about the Christ the Kings and the St. Ray's and schools like that. Hayes as well has gotten into that. But for a team up in Westchester, Massaroni's done an incredible job just to raise this program's level up.
100%. And, he comes in, he takes over a program. Jordan Tucker, Andre Hyatt, his first 2 notable players. So had the talent there, but didn't have the rest of the team success that he had hoped for. But, they were a call away, too, against Malloy the year that Cardinal Hayes beat Malloy in the final from getting to overtime and possibly getting to the final themselves. So he's done nothing but win from year 2 on to now.
3-point shot right off the bench for Braylon Ritvo. That's a great response off the timeout. Loughlin tries to answer back. Sanders misses his 3. It's the final minute of the first quarter. Ritvo again tries to spin baseline, loses it. Here's Flan, the runner. Rims out. Offensive rebound, putback opportunity, and a foul was called. You love the effort by Ben Little.
Yeah, Ben Little not so little down low, getting a good rebound off of Moore, the tallest player on the floor, and drawing the foul.
So Little averaging 5.7 rebounds per game. He's 6'5" junior. First free throw is good.
Massaroni saying he's one of the hardest working guys to enter his program, and has a little Dennis Rodman in him. Ben Wallace, maybe score one or 2 points.
Yes, and he says Rodman, but he says in the nicest way possible. Like all that other stuff that surrounded Rodman, not the case with Ben. He said, but more that hard work on the glass, battling, defending, all those things that made Rodman an NBA All-Star.
So he's not riding a motorcycle after the game.
No. I don't think he has pink hair or.
We'll leave it at that.
20-8, the lead. Oh, good first step, up and under. The miss there by Joe. Jeffrey harassed.
Yeah, Baez towing the baseline, and the two Christians playing pretty well. It's been more Christian Joe in the first quarter as Baez loses his step, excuse me. But for Loughlin, I think if you could get a bucket here, go to single digits, or did Sanders not know where he was going for a second? Or anyway, if they could get a bucket here, make it a 10-point or a 9-point game, I think that'd be huge momentum-wise for them.
Sanders splits it. Shooter, that's blocked. That was Tyler Rahman. And we go the other way, and a foul was called on Joe.
Yeah, Baez getting thrown around like a rag doll the last two possessions.
Subs for both. 3.3 remaining. Carbuccia lost it. Last shot. It's deep. Just short, though, as Joe attempted the three. Well, Stepinac got out to a huge lead early on. The Lions chipped away, but it is the Crusaders with a 20-8 lead after the first quarter. You're watching this New York City CHSAA Class AA Intersectional Semifinal presented by Maspeth Federal Savings on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area sports leader. We offer an array of services for any team, coach, player, athletic director, and parent. From game film to live streaming, we are available to cover your event anytime, any place. Looking for an enhanced experience? How about a professional broadcast with multiple camera angles, announcers, graphics, and instant replay? Need a highlight reel? We produce individual highlights for college recruiting and team highlight videos for end-of-season banquets. And when it comes to social media, nobody has you covered better than us. Hype videos, sideline highlights. We can tailor custom videos to make your team stand out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Why waste your time dealing with anyone else? When it comes to sports video, Varsity Media stands alone. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or online at varsitymedia.net.
Welcome back to the Mac Sports Complex on the campus of Hofstra University. Second quarter about to start. Dylan Butler, John Perez here, courtside for the first of two semifinals in the Catholic AA. And it is Archbishop Stepinac jumping out to a quick start, and they have a 20-8 lead. Jeffrey, the floater in the lane, no good. And Hogarth ripped down the rebound. Another sophomore on this Stepinac team. I almost feel like that's like the story of the Catholic League this year in general, right? Like the sophomores, so many of them, each team seems to have it as Hogarth is called for the offensive foul.
Yeah, it's always, I guess you can always make that case going back, but there's just a plethora of good young talent, and I wonder how much that has to do with teams not really playing as much last year, so there was a lot of improvement on the individual basis, and freshmen working out on their own, and obviously you don't get the camaraderie, the chemistry that you would with a team aspect, but in terms of just a solo skill building performance, those sophomores working a lot their freshman year, and now it's paying off now in their sophomore year.
The only real playing, I guess, that you would say that happened last year was that tournament.
Right.
Up in Stepinac, right? So certain teams had different ways to attack that, right? Hayes brought their team. They ended up winning it in the AA, and Fordham used it as an opportunity to play at a higher level. And Christ the King, Joe Arbitello said, look, we wanted to just give our guys, our seniors, something to play for, so he only brought 5 seniors with him.
Right. Yeah, so this is the first time that these guys are actually getting the playing time that they deserve, and it's another nice layup by Carbuccia. It's just been a tough year for everybody. I don't think anybody's been hit harder than the Catholic League in terms of games getting canceled or just not playing or not getting an answer, quite frankly. So it's good to see them back out there, and the sophomores have done a good job.
And again, you go throughout, right? Boogie Flan and Ian Jackson, of course, at the very top, but so many talented players. Jeffrey is rejected away by Baez.
Baez is a fantastic defensive player. Love his length as well. Doing a good job as Jeffrey tries to get to the cup. You know, Bishop Loughlin's played well, better at least over the last 4 minutes of game action. There's the block right there, outscoring. Bishop Loughlin 8-4, but 8-6 now after the Stepinac bucket. But you can't turn it over like that either.
Steal by Baez. Harash tries to go up and under, no good. Look at Flan rip for the rebound. We'll call it another jump ball, and it will stay with the Crusaders.
Good hustle down low. That's Fland and Christian Joe coming together.
Flan's off the inbounds. Gibbs, little motion now for the Crusaders. Carbucci tries to get through, and he is fouled en route.
I love the hands of Joe, though. He didn't get the jump ball call. His hands are always near the basketball and causing havoc for those ball handlers.
Back in is Kaba for Joe. As Stepinac will inbound underneath. Bounce pass inside. Again, good defense there by Moore.
And that's what Micaiah Moore can do for you. How about this for Bishop Loughlin? You could just plug in a 6'9" guy right off the bench, and he gives you a good defensive energy.
Gamery backed out there by Gibbs. And Gibbs tried to get the steal from behind, but he is whistled for the foul.
Yeah, on both ends, both guards thinking that they got all ball. Unfortunately, just called for the foul.
Jeffrey to inbounds. Goes back to Gamery. They play catch. Jeffrey was so good against Holy Cross. That time a pass and a good finish at the cup by Kaba.
Yeah, Loughlin needed that bucket. They've been in a drought, and they've got to find a way to carve down this deficit.
Gibbs, hands off. Carbuccia, good extra pass, and the finish inside by Alexander.
And that's the thing. Moore didn't stay home, didn't see that Alexander was behind him, and it was an easy bucket for
Alexander,
Isaiah.
the rejection on the other side, but Moore gets the putback.
Good redemption for Micaiah Moore. Still a 12-point game and a touch foul.
This thing be on Carbuccia. Watch his extra pass here, too. Great look.
Yeah, you get Moore to fake, and an easy bucket for Alexander.
Carbuccia stolen. We go the other way. Layup by Kaba. Is Kaba perhaps heating up?
They need someone to heat up on the offensive end. Kaba will take that role, but defensively, Loughlin needs stops.
Alexander, no good. Moore, the rebounds.
Just look at the size of him altering the shot by Alexander. That's the difference right there.
Kaba to the cup again.
They can't stop him.
6 in this quarter. The lead is now single figures to 8. Back iron three, Carbuccia. That's a big offensive rebound, though, by Baez. And there's a triple by Fland.
And that's exactly the thing that Bishop Loughlin has not been doing through the first half, is defending those long rebounds.
Fland now with 11. He's got 3 triples on the day. Jeffrey runs off the screen. Kaba, the hot hand right now, guarded closely by Gibbs. Oh, the step back.
And a couple of nods as well. His confidence is growing. He can't be stopped right now, Dylan.
But as you mentioned, they need a stop on this side. Fland hands off to Alexander.
Oh, there's
inside
the mismatch.
To Baez. To the hole, count it, and the foul.
Yeah, Baez and just doing a good job overpowering Eason. Would have liked to see a help defender in there, but that was not the case.
So Baez, scoring for him is kind of secondary, right? He's that defensive guy. He misses the free throw, and you love to have that, right, on a team that obviously is so gifted offensively. Jump ball again.
Pat Massaroni's saying a few times this year that he's had to tell Baez, I don't think you know how good you are and how good you can be. And, you know, one of Baez's close friends and still talks to one of his best friends is R.J. Davis, who still watches the games and follows from afar and will still give him pep talks, and he uses that to motivate himself.
Fland with the steal and the layup. 13 for Fland.
Fland is very businesslike, right? He's got an open lane. Would love to see him dunk it home, but nope. A layup is the same amount of points as a dunk, and an easy outlet layup for him.
Jeffrey, the runner off the glass, no good. Moore, the rebound, but he stepped out. Baez, after a quick break, is back in. He'll come in for Gibbs.
He almost took down our operation.
Ritvo in as well. Was so impressed with him early on this year, that big game, really one of the biggest, or one of the early season big games, right, in the league at Hayes, as a foul was called. Ritvo really kind of introduced himself in that game. Jeffrey called for the foul, the 7, so it'll be a 1-and-1 situation as Fland will go to the line.
Well, Ritvo, too, you know, another one of those sophomores that is making an impact for Stepinac. And on any given night, they'll have a new superstar come out, or a new breakout performance. And for that night, it was Ritvo, and he has just continued to soar since then.
Fland knocks down the first, shooting 72% from the line this year. You name the college, they are interested in Boogie Fland. Second free throw good as well. Certainly had a lot of eyes on him as well. We saw the Kentucky Antiguas in the house, Rick Pitino as well, St. John's, and others on Sunday.
Got a lot of, it's only going to grow. I think eventually it'll be appointment viewing like we saw with Davis and Griffin, and there's no reason to believe why he can't get those types of offers either.
Joe fouled on the drive, fouled by Little. First in the team's 6th. Sanders trying to check himself back in. And actually, they said that was a shooting foul. Kind of thought it was on a drive myself.
Yeah, I thought so too.
So Joe will go to the line, knocks down the first. Seven now for Christian Joe. Missed the second. 33-19 the lead for Stepinac. 2:17 left in this first half. Crusaders have not trailed. Oh, good move to the hole. Little can't finish there, though. And Loughlin will get the ball.
Good defense by Eason down low, staying home, altering the shot. As I think Loughlin got Kaba back into the game.
And there's Jeffrey again. 6'3", sophomore Eddie Gonzalez calls him special. Tough pass inside to Sanders. It's loose on the floor now. And a kick ball. I thought I saw a kick, right?
Yeah. It was Hogarth down low, I'm sure. Could have been him, could have been someone else. But either way, Loughlin will have 21 to shoot.
Inbound underneath for Jeffrey. Driving, Joe faked it back out to Kaba. And there was a foul out there, so we'll have a 1-and-1 bonus.
Yeah, as Ritfo takes that on. And, you know, Kaba doing everything he could in the middle portion of this second quarter to keep Bishop Loughlin in this game.
Kaba back iron. Same team, guys. Rebounds will be credited to Little. 33-19 the lead for the Crusaders. This first of two CHSAA AA semifinals. St. Francis Prep and Cardinal Hayes, the nightcap at 8 p.m. Open Baez, faked it. Harassed, tries to bounce it, looking for Little. He was late to that ball, and he's called for the foul.
The push over there, and so Little now with his second, and you know, Bishop Loughlin can chip away. You know, these points will add up. Probably not going into the locker room tied or with the lead. But if they can make this, you know, single digits, 3 possessions, you take it as a win and a good building block going into the second half.
Jeffrey, who had 19 in the quarterfinal, scores his first point of this game. And makes it 2 of 2 from the line. So Gamory comes back in. Kashawn Long checks in. Fland is back in.
Shuffling cards.
Yes. And a little bit of full court pressure now by Loughlin. Carbuccia switches to his right, goes end to end, goes to his left, can't get it to finish. And rebound ripped there by Jeffrey. He goes the other way. Hands off. Gamory pulls up. Short. Gibbs defending well inside, and it'll be Stepinac ball.
Yeah, good job by Flan to throw it off of Long to the waist. It gives Stepinac the ball. I'm surprised that Loughlin hasn't pressed earlier.
Flan to his left. The layup. No good. The putback is there, though, for Hogarth.
Hogarth did a really good job filling his lane, getting right down the court, found his spot, and an easy tip-in.
Flan, some good defense there as well. And that's one thing I'm sure college coaches love, right? Yes, we know that he can score at will, but he does little things like that too. Defending, getting rebounds, and now he'll go to the line for shooting.
Well, listen, if he's going to play in the SEC, the ACC, the Big East, he's going to have to defend, or he's going to have to go to these hostile environments and make a stop when his team needs it. And these coaches, right, they recruit on potential. Well, you're seeing it here in the form of a sophomore. Already has a good defensive base, and his body will grow, his IQ will grow. A lot of upside for Boogie Fland.
Rare miss there for Fland from the line. Pumps his chest and say, my bad. As Jeffrey guarded there by Gibbs. Works off the screen at the top. Alexander flashes back out to him. Here's Gamory. And an extra step or a foul? Step was called, traveling violation. So Stepinac will have the ball with the opportunity to take the last shot. 22.6 on the game clock. Shot clock is off. And again, here's the pressure. A little bit of a token look as Gibbs gets it across midcourt without much harassment. Hands off to Carbuccia.
Well, last time we saw the press, Carbuccia took it to the hole and missed.
Yeah. There he beats the defender, pulls up foul line. Carbuccia off the mark. Another great rebound there by Hogarth. And Jeffrey steps out, but it'll be the end of the first half. So Stepinac with a 35-21 lead. Again, a terrific start for the Crusaders. And are we calling something here?
I think they're going to put some time back on the clock, saying that Joe was on the baseline. Excuse me, that Jeffrey was on the baseline. And now we're not. So I think that's what they were discussing. The thing is, they don't have a monitor here. I know we're streaming the game, but there's not a designated monitor to make an official ruling. So now finally halftime, Dylan.
Yeah, a strange end to the first half, but an end nonetheless. We'll be joined by Pat Massaroni, the Archbishop Stepinac head coach. In a moment.
Has upgraded these mics in 2 days.
We got sponsorships now. We're good.
That's it. Yeah. High tech.
Pat, red hot start. You knew that Loughlin would chip away, which they did. But what did you think of the first half?
Yeah, I thought we did a pretty good job of defending in the half court. You know, I thought we executed pretty well early offensively. They made that run. I think it was a 6 or 8-0 run. Get it to 16-8. I think we're getting absolutely crushed on the 50-50 balls, and that's just effort and toughness. And we knew going into the game that Loughlin was that's their main thing. You know, that's their main thing. So we're going to talk at halftime about being better in the 50-50 balls, getting on the loose balls, chinning every rebound, and we like to get out and run, but you can't do that if you don't have the ball.
I thought your bench came off, played well, brought a good energy. What have you seen out of them?
Yeah, you know, Jacob, Braylon, and Ben, you know, gave us minutes, guys were exhausted, you know, going up and down the way we play, and I thought they did a really good job of giving us a spark, you know, giving us a spark there and good minutes, and we got to continue to use them as we get deeper into this game, the way Loughlin wants to get up and down, the way we want to get up and down. So, you know, happy with the three of them, you know, hold them to 21 points. I think it could have been 15 or less if we had those 50-50 balls, but we know there's no game won at halftime, so this is a long way to go.
And last one, Pat, in addition to those 50-50s and matching the energy that Loughlin brings, what do you want to see from your guys in the second half?
I think we got to do a better job of getting easier shots. You know, I think we've settled, and we shoot a lot of threes, and that's okay. That's our offense, drive and kick. We work on it every day. But we got to get to the rim. We got to get to the foul line. And I think we'll do that in the second half, attacking Loughlin in their seams and get easier looks.
All right, Pat Massaroni, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck in the second half.
Thanks, guys.
So we heard from Pat Massaroni there what he wants, some extra intensity and some easier looks as well at the Cup. So it is halftime here in Game 1 of the CHSAA Class AA semifinals, and it's the Crusaders with a 35-21 lead. The CHSAA Class AA semifinal is presented by Maspeth Federal Savings right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports. Varsity Media has all your Catholic League basketball coverage starting this week.
Attempt, rims out. Oh, the putback! Jackson! Here comes Briscoe. Showtime!
On Thursday, it's the Long Island Girls and Boys Championship games from Hofstra. Friday, New York City Class B and A boys from Monroe College. On Sunday, City Boys AA quarterfinals from Hofstra, plus semifinal and championship games in City Boys AA, Wednesday, March 9th and Friday, March 11th. Nobody has you covered more than Varsity Media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch all games free on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Over the middle, he's got a man. It's complete. Ciolino. See you later.
Going long, wide open, Perazzi, he gets it, Perazzi, foot raise, 10, 5, bank it, touchdown, punch, counter punch.
The trickery, Ryder gets it back, goes over the top for Haberman. What a catch!
Just Ross Simmons strips him, that's loose, and Ross Simmons is gonna take this the other direction, bank it, touchdown, touchdown East.
Parents and athletes, why leave your college career in the hands of amateurs? Varsity Media produces professional college recruiting videos that you can use to help land a spot on the team. Our highlight reels have proven to save thousands of dollars in college tuition. You've worked hard and put the effort into your high school athletic career. Don't take any chances when it comes to your future. Varsity Media has been producing college recruiting videos since 2010. We understand what college coaches are looking for, and our attention to detail on your highlights will separate your resume from others. Stand out from the crowd. We'll help showcase your talents. Contact Varsity Media today and order a college recruiting video.
Maspeth Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Welcome back to the MAC Sports Complex. There's a guy who's a CHSAA alum and kind of runs the show here now at Hofstra. You see Speedy Claxton there. Obviously a Christ the King, great. Yep. Phenomenal player. He's got his banner behind us as well up in the rafters, and great to see him too as the head coach now here at Hofstra.
Yeah, no, I would say probably Mount Rushmore Christ the King player, right? Certainly one of the best players in Hofstra history, and then of course some good local recent talent as well. That's Omar Silvario on the left, Jaquan Carlos on the right. Silvario played for St. Ray's, and Jaquan Carlos played for Thomas Jefferson. Carlos was like the Wilt Chamberlain of stats in the PSAL. He would average 77 points a game. Not field goal percentage, not free throw, 3-point, 77 points a game in the Brooklyn AA, but doing good things here at Hofstra as well. Aaron Estrada, just the Hofstra tie, not the Catholic League tie, of course, winning CAA Player of the Year. And, of course, why not have a Catholic League guy lead the ship and you get some success, and that's exactly what Speedy's done this year.
Interesting point you bring up about Mount Rushmore at Christ the King, right? Because that's hard, man. I mean, the legends that have come out of there, you think of a Khalid Reeves, even a Derek Phelps, Lamar Odom. You can go Omar Cook, Eric Barkley. I mean, the list goes on, but Speedy was incredible in his day. Of course, played here for Jay Wright. And as you mentioned, right, he's in the banners here as well. Charles Jenkins, another guy, right, a Queens guy, went to Springfield Gardens High School. He is in the rafters as well. And by the way, we've got to say it here as well as we take a look at the banners. You can see number 10 there, the only guy in blue up there, which I thought was interesting. But that is Speedy Claxton's number 10 jersey, and led them to an NCAA tournament, right? I believe as well.
Yep.
During his time. But it's got to be said here as well. Look, a different venue here for these games, right? These are traditionally played. The semifinals at St. John's, the finals, of course, at Fordham University. COVID restrictions and running out of time, really, to get there. I'm sure probably if these games were played in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, they would have been back in those spots. But you got to, Paul Gilvari and the CHSAA Brain Trust, the work they had to put in just to get a location. They didn't want to go outside the city limits if they had to, but you could not have picked a better place than Hofstra to have these games.
I agree. And, then it comes down to, well, do you want to put it in a high school gym? Well, what happens if St. Francis Prep is in the final and it's over there? And, all these gyms are pretty much bandboxes in the size of a closet or a New York City apartment. So that wasn't going to be the case. Credit to Gilvari, credit to the forces that be. And I think it was just great from a standpoint of everybody's now got to come out to Long Island, and there's no one central meeting spot, so it makes it as neutral as possible. And, of course, one of the best venues on Long Island.
100%. Let's take a look at these leading scorers for both teams. After the first half, it is Kaba. All of those points that he scored, all 8 of them in that second quarter, a big reason why Loughlin sliced into their lead, and a big reason why Stepinac has the lead that they do. It was Boogie Fland. Again, 33 in the quarterfinals, 15 in the first half. So he's kind of right on pace there to get another 30.
Yeah, and there's no reason to believe that he can't do it or won't do it. If he continues to knock down those corner threes, cut to the cup, and play well on transition offense, and if Stepinac gets those 50-50 balls, they're going to create a higher volume of shot opportunities. So, yeah, we're on 30 watch again for Boogie Fland, whose previous season high was 23.
Yeah, well, it's playoff time now,
Yep.
right? So he's going to maybe try to up that each time out. So, again, halftime here of the first of 2 semifinals. Second game coming up for you, 8 o'clock right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. St. Francis Prep taking on Cardinal Hayes. That should be an incredible showdown. They met once in the regular season at St. Francis on a Sunday afternoon, and that was a game where the Terriers announced themselves as a true contender this year, and let's see what becomes of that one. But first, we've got 16 minutes here in this semifinal. Here's Fland. Goes to his left, loses it. Gibbs. Nice to have that safety valve, right? And Sam Gibbs.
They have a lot of safety valves, Stepinac. And even Alexander right there getting the offensive rebound and almost giving his team a second chance.
So we'll go the other way. And Jeffrey. They were much better, Loughlin was, in the second half of the quarterfinal after Holy Cross kind of put a scare in them the way that they were shooting the ball in that last of 4 quarterfinals. The interior pass. Foul was called underneath.
Yeah, Loughlin closing all the doors, locking the windows, doing a good job against Holy Cross, which we should give them credit to. A team that won no league games, getting to the quarterfinal in the city playoffs. Just goes to show how good this league really is.
That foul was on Boogie, his second. Alexander, another rebound. And here comes Baez.
Let go of that layup a little too fast and a little too early.
Gibbs thought about it. Little Euro step. Lefty, no good. Carbuccia, an errant pass. Hands off. Alexander. Count it. And the foul. And you got to give us so much credit on that interior pass by Carbuccia.
Yeah, Carbuccia, a nice feed down low to Alexander. We'll take another look at it. And, yeah, there's the takeaway and a nice handoff. And Alexander can complete the three-point play.
And that's just awareness, too, right? Like, Carbuccia could have forced it into the defender. Instead, he knew that Alexander had a better opportunity to score that bucket, which he did, and he completes the three-point play.
Well, Masseroni said it the other day at halftime, and he said it last week in our phone call, that this is the most selfless and most bought-in defensive-minded team that he's coached. So it's not a team of I'm going to go out there and score mine and worry about my stats.
Which was interesting that he had those comments that he questioned, or not questioned, but he said as Carbuccia rejected off the backboard, and now Loughlin can get the other way. Layup there by Sanders. It was interesting because they've been a team of energy and an effort really throughout the year. That's been one of their biggest strengths this year, and to hear him say that we didn't match it, a little bit surprising in that first half.
Well, listen, at the end of the day, they're still high school kids as King Samuel gets another deuce.
Yeah, good backdoor cut there for Gibbs. We go the other way. Sanders into a pair of Crusaders, and it's turned over. Look out. Oh, good cut there by Baez. Another one. Gibbs the trail, and he's fouled at the basket.
See, and there was the extra pass right there. Gibbs working hard to get to the cup. As we will see that again, and Baez just galloping. Gibbs to the cup, gets the foul, and he'll go to the line.
First free throw is good. He was outstanding in an incredible game. We talked about it before at Cardinal Hayes, a 70-67 win for Hayes. He had 27 in that game and just kept Stepinac. And again, that was a Stepinac team without Boogie Fland. So Gibbs goes 1 of 2. 41-23 the lead for Stepinac.
Well, Dylan, it's been next man up as Moore gets fouled on the way up, and that just continues. You know, I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but that's truly the case for Stepinac. They filled in the gaps. You know, you don't win 21 games without having the depth and having a very similar offensive skill set, rebounding skill set, and, you know, it's more like a plug-and-play type of team. And I'm sure that there are coaches around the league that would love to have Stepinac's bench, you know, to be their starting five. That just shows how deep they are. And even though they're, you know, losing one of the top players in the city, the team was able to step up in his absence.
Moore knocks down both after Fland picked up his third foul. And again, some token full court pressure as Gibbs brings it over and hands off to Baez. Baez drives in, missed it. Good defense inside by Moore, and now Loughlin goes the other way. Gamery. Oh, and Alexander steps into the passing lane, checks the rear view, and sends it down.
Love the double team right there, and you know what happens when you double team a smaller guy? He doesn't have the vision to look over the top, so he tries to split it past the two defenders, and Alexander read that the entire way.
Jeffrey powers through the lane for 2 more.
Well, Christian Jeffrey can get a bucket when he needs to. It comes down to the defense for Loughlin. That's been the issue for the first 2 quarters and change.
Gamery goes the other way. Lefty, get out of town. That's knocked all the way back to midcourt. That's where Jeffrey is.
What a swat by Baez. Again, stepping up defensively.
Jeffrey to his left. And now Jeffrey maybe is heating up for the Lions. 43-29, the Stepinac lead, midway point of this third quarter. Gibbs, Carbuccia, open college 3. Rims out, we go the other way. Joe. Jeffrey right now, the hot hand. Here's Gamery going his way. And there is Jeffrey.
And you see Fland picks up the assignment as well.
Missed that layup attempt. Here comes Fland looking for Gibbs ahead. Turns, fires, bang. A deep 2 for Gibbs.
Well, for Jeffrey the other way, it's not an easy task when you've got Boogie Fland defending you and then you go right into Baez. Doesn't get it done, and then Stepinac on the other way. Gibbs, again, knocks down the open J.
Joining our broadcast on Friday will be the great Mike Quick. And one thing that Mike has said often about Loughlin, and he absolutely is talking about Christian Jeffrey when he references, he goes, it's too bad Loughlin doesn't have a football team.
Right.
Because they've got some dudes, right? And Jeffrey being one of them who could certainly be, you'd argue, a linebacker. This is our next matchup coming up at 8 o'clock tonight, St. Francis Prep and Cardinal Hayes. An incredible game in the second semifinal. That is an 8 p.m. tip.
Well, you want to talk about two programs that have men's bodies. I mean, anytime you walk into the Cardinal Hayes gym or you walk into Loughlin, you just see, if you're just looking, for the back of their heads or just the shoulders or whatever, you say, wow, these are men, and you look at their faces and they're 13 years old. But, yeah, no, Mike's 100% right on that. You can make the case, too, for Micaiah Moore, Ja'Kai Sanders, who we haven't seen a lot of in this game for Bishop Loughlin. But, yeah, I don't know if there's a GoFundMe page or whatever it is to start Bishop Loughlin football, and I know it's not that simple either.
And there he is, the middle linebacker for 3.
Touchdown.
So Jeffrey with 7 of his 9 in this third quarter. Trying to shoot his team back into this. Baez, here's the double, kicks out of that. Alexander, 4-3.
They'll knock down the open look. You can't give it to him. Loughlin has done that over and over again, and that's a big reason why Stepinac is up a sweet 16.
And, John, that's the problem, I think, that you face when you take on a Stepinac team that is as deep as it is. Stepping out for a 3, Kaba can't get it. Tap put back for Moore, not there. Gibbs comes down with it. They are so deep and, again, so unselfish. Who do you double? And then when you do, you're threatening that next guy to knock down the shot.
Which could be one of the reasons why Loughlin has impressed earlier as well. But, there you see Baez just driving to the cup. Fouled on the way up by Moore.
They announced Kaba, his second. And here's Baez to the line. Knocks down the first. Baez, NEC, Mac, Wagner, FDU, they've reached out earlier this year. Second rims around and out. I think, though, when you see his skill set, and yes, maybe you'd argue maybe limited offensively, but I think any college coach will say, listen, you're going to defend the way that you do, we might have a spot for you.
100%, especially, for a Mac or an NEC school.
Great look inside, the bounce pass and the finish by Moore.
Tell you what, Wagner could have used some defense last night. Jeez.
That was a great look. Moore with the finish at the rim. Moore, 6'9", junior. He's just getting better and better and better as this season has gone on.
Yeah, he's just an imposing presence as well, and he's done a really good job altering shots, and you got to love when you can just plug in a 6'9" guy down low.
Take a quick break here. 2 minutes left in this third quarter. Stepinac with a 49-34 lead. You're watching this New York CHSAA Class AA semifinal on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Welcome back to the MAC Sports Complex. I want to thank, of course, Maspeth Federal Savings for making these games possible. Their great sponsorship. Dylan Butler here, John Perez as well. Final 2 minutes of this third quarter. It is a 49-34 lead for Stepinac, a team that jumped out early, and they've, for the most part, had that double-digit lead throughout.
Well, yeah, they started off 10-0, then 16-1. Loughlin made a run, but Stepinac has never made Loughlin comfortable and never really let them feel as if they were coming back in this game.
Baez up top to Little. And Massaroni has the luxury miss inside. The tap put back for Hogarth to kind of run in like an NBA kind of setup, right? Like rotations and bring in multiple guys.
Right, especially even a guy like Hogarth coming off the bench but has an offer from Fairfield, which just goes to show the talent that he has, players 1 through 10.
Sanders misses. Look at Hogarth. Misses at the cup, but you love just the way he ran the floor as a foul was called. Foul on Sanders. His third. And this sends Alexander to the line.
You know, even Alexander as well, playing well in this game, doing a good job filling his lane, getting rebounds, and put the ball in the hole a few times as well.
Misses the front end. He's a guy most likely will reclassify, go to prep next year. Certainly can't blame him for doing that, right, with the COVID year and losing a year as all of these guys have. He goes 1 of 2. You know, if you could do that in college and you can go into the transfer portal and get an extra year, why not do the same on the high school level?
Certainly.
Joe steps back. Good defense by Baez. Nothing there. Hogarth hands off to Gibbs. Gibbs tries to finagle his way through traffic. Jeffrey, Hogarth, the second effort, not there. It sat at the rim and went out. Final minute, third quarter. Jeffrey drives through, and he was fouled.
Like Jeffrey's aggressiveness going to the hole, Stepinac thought that they had the foul call on them, didn't get it.
The third on Alexander. And Jeffrey will go back to the line. Knocks down his first. He's 3 of 3 now from the line.
Sanders and his 3 fouls come on for the final 37 seconds. And
there you see off the made free throw, right? Full court again. Baez. Little gets it back to Baez, to the capable hands of Gibbs.
I think that's only the second full court press that we've seen from Loughlin. We've seen a couple of mock presses.
Yeah, you would think with the time and score, right? And it's getting into that time now where they've got to ratchet things up, right? Baez, they're trying to get the 5 call. Kaba getting out on him. A second differential between game and shot. Baez drives inside, and he is fouled.
Yeah, that'll go on more instead of Sanders. And, you know, I don't know about that one. But either way, Stepinac doing a good job winding the clock down.
Baez gets the first.
And at least getting a point out of this possession. With 1 more for Baez.
Yeah, he and Gibbs, the leaders of this team. Knocks down both. So plenty of time for Loughlin to get this last shot off. Here is Jeffrey. Drives, pulls up. Off the rim, no good. Putback will not count as the game clock was already expired. 54-36 the lead. Archbishop Stepinac 8 minutes away from booking their spot in the Catholic AA Championship game. Fourth quarter coming up when we return right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Over the middle, he's got a man. It's complete. Ciolino. See you later.
Going long, wide open, Perazzi, he gets it, Perazzi, foot raise, 10, 5, make it, touchdown, punch, counter punch.
The trickery, Ryder gets it back, goes over the top for Haberman. What a catch!
Just Ross Simmons strips him, that's loose, and Ross Simmons is going to take this the other direction. Make it, touchdown, touchdown East.
Welcome back to the MAC Sports Complex. Dylan Butler, John Perez here. Final 8 minutes of regulation coming up, and it is Archbishop Stepinac with a 54-36 lead in this CHSAA AA semifinal presented by Maspeth Federal Savings. 19-15 was the difference in the third quarter with Stepinac having the edge. So the good news for Loughlin is you've scored the most points in a quarter in the third, but you also gave up 19, and you've got a pretty sizable deficit at this point. Missed jumper, but it went off of a, deflected off a Stepinac player, so the ball will stay with Loughlin.
Well, Dylan, it's been the theme this entire game. Loughlin has to defend, and they haven't. Having said that, they're going to have to, in this quarter, obviously outscore them, but by a lot. And it all comes down to the defensive effort, because we know that Loughlin can score if they need a bucket. But it just hasn't been there yet.
Look down low. Good defense by Alexander. Sometimes it's the simplest things, John. Just put your hands up and stand there.
Yeah.
Baez. Doubled. Good look. Flan, baseline. Knocks it down. He went scoreless in the third quarter. That is his 16th and 17th points of this game.
Love that little fall-away jumper that he has inside the arc, too.
Trying to use the glass was Jeffrey. Missed the mark. Sanders back in. 20-point lead. 3-point attempt, left side, no good. Baez the rebound.
Not sure if anyone could hear Massaroni. We're right in front of the Stepinac bench, and saying everyone flare to the corner, flare to the corner. Well, Caba had the open look as another deuce for Joel Baez. Loughlin just didn't knock it down.
I think that means that we'll be right by the St. Francis Prep bench in the next game, which I was hoping to be next to the Hayes bench because Joe Lodes is probably the most entertaining coach in the Catholic League.
Yeah, but we have to do our jobs too, Dylan. Like we can't be laughing for 32 minutes.
Carbuccia ahead of the field. He'll get that easy layup. He's got 9 now. And you can see Stepinac just trying to put this one away. Massaroni wants another stop defensively. Never satisfied, as any good coach would be.
No, and that's the reason why they've soared to the heights this year that they're at, and why they are one of the premier teams in the state.
Foul on Fland, his 4th. The team's 5th, so they'll sub out Boogie with his 4 fouls. Ritvo comes back in.
Kind of a quiet 4 fouls, right? Like we haven't really... Little touch fouls, nothing egregious, but they add up.
Jeffrey, guarded by Alexander, works off the Moore screen. A little pick and pop. Jeffrey kicks it outside. The drive, another rejection. That by Baez. Gibbs flies into the expensive seats.
I think that's the Marist coaching staff. Andrew Metz.
I see John Dunn over there.
Guy. Yep.
John Dunn, a former Archbishop Malloy standout in his day.
Andrew Metz, I believe, former coach at Loughlin, went to St. John's, graduated, I think, a year after me. Friends with Mo Harkless, and
Joe gets to the cup. 9 for him now. Gibbs down low. In the lane. Back rim, no good for Baez. The hard work inside. Second opportunity. Great effort by Little. He'll go to the foul line for his hard work.
The bench has done a good job today for Stepinac, particularly Ben Little, who can probably start for any team in the city. good junior, a kid from New Rochelle, enrolled in honors classes, definition of a student athlete.
Yeah, he's just a man, right? On the glass, plays so hard. He's skilled, he could finish. Missed both. Joe pulls up from 3. That's good.
You know, and that's the potential that you see out of Bishop Loughlin and Christian Joe and what he's been able to do, the senior playing well in what could be his last game, a nice fadeaway jumper.
Take a look again at, well, first we'll show you how you could subscribe to us here on Varsity Media. I like that. It's like one of those signs like on the football sideline,
Yep.
right? Like all the different signs show up. So that's Varsity Media on the left. On, we know what on is, right? That's the YouTube
What was
sign.
the old game show Alex Trebek used to host before Jeopardy? Because that's what this is.
And there, that's the subscribe. So you click on
Right.
that. With see the arrow? Click right there.
Smash that subscribe button.
And by doing so, right, you can find out all of our notifications, everything that we have planned coming up, some excitement almost at lacrosse season, but we've got some more basketball coming up. St. Francis Prep Cardinal Hayes, the second semifinal. Tip off at 8 from the Mac Sports Complex here tonight. When you do 5 games in a day, as we did on Sunday, doing a doubleheader is nothing.
Oh,
We've
easy
got-
peasy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it'll just be one on Friday.
Yes. And the big one. at
Yes.
that. Little floater. What a soft touch there by Flans.
He's incredible. I don't know if he'll score 30 tonight, but either way, he was very efficient in the first half. And a big reason why Stepinac was able to pull away, just like they were in the quarterfinals.
You like the effort, at least by Jeffrey, right? Where there's no give up, certainly in him. He's called for the foul.
Yeah, Jeffrey, that's his third, and Alexander working hard to the cup.
Yeah, was not giving up. A layup, making Alexander earn it from the line. First is good.
Alexander's been a fun player to watch, too, for Stepinac. How he's been able to contribute on the glass. You know, I was reading Chris Herron's new book that just came out about the 90s Knicks, and there was a page in there where Anthony Mason was going to come off the bench because he, quote, didn't contribute to the offense enough. And I think Mason brought up a good case, and that's the same case for Alexander, as we'll get a foul on Little. It's that, well, I get the rebound. This is his argument. I get the rebound. I push it up ahead to the point guard, who then sets up the play. And he considers that as part of the offense. And that's exactly what Alexander can do for this team as well. Get it done on one end. Obviously, he's not going to get any points for the assist, but it starts with him. They bring it down the court. Stepinac scores. Bing, bang, boom.
I kind of love that. So now they've got Rodman and Mason on it. Listen, that was my favorite era of the NBA. And that Knicks team was certainly so much fun to watch, right? Starks and Oakley and Ewing. And
it was the race to 70.
Yeah. That's when you had to earn. No free layups in the 90s NBA. Alexander steps out off the mark. We go the other way. Gamery into Jeffrey's hands. Midway point of this fourth quarter. Jeffrey for 3. Back iron. Ritvo skies for the rebound. And just hands it off to Gibbs. Stepinac comes the other way. Boogie pulls up. Front rim no good. Battle for the loose ball. Gibbs grabs it. Fires across court. Another open 3 for Fland. This also missed. Alexander didn't really have an angle. Jeffrey tried to put it behind his back. A little bit helter-skelter right now. Gibbs tries to go underneath. Misses there. And I think that's a good timeout to be called with things kind of getting as hectic as it did. Massaroni calls timeout. It'll be a full, so we'll take it with him as well. 3:17 left here, fourth quarter. Archbishop Stepinac, a 20-point lead. You're watching the CHSAA AA semifinal, presented by Maspeth Federal Savings and the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Federal Savings is here through it all. The ins and outs, the ups and downs. Through the winters, the summers, and even the spring of leaks. Know that Maspeth has your back. From luxury sheets to balance sheets to dancing under the stars, your mission is our mission. And when our community calls, we proudly step forward. So whether you need it now or planning for tomorrow, through all the twists and all the turns, you can always find us right here in your neighborhood.
Welcome back to the Mac Sports Complex. Dylan Butler, John Perez here. It's the Varsity Media Sports Network presentation of the CHSAA playoffs. We've already showed you winners in the B and the A, with Cathedral Prep and Fordham Prep winning, and now it's the battle for the AA. Semifinal number 1, and Stepinac 3 minutes away from booking their spot back into the final. They were last there when they won it in 28. No, they played in 19 too, right?
Yeah, they lost to Christ the King and then beat Christ the King the year before. So it was a battle of Maceroni and Arbitello for 2 years. Lost in the semifinal the year before to Archbishop Malloy, the eventual runner-up. That was the phantom foul call on Khalid Moore.
That's not what Joe Lode said.
No. I'm talking about the semi. Yeah, no.
Drive and the.
No, Anthony missed that layup, and he'll tell you he missed that layup.
Ritvo with the rebounds.
He also lost that dunk contest.
He had Tim's on, though. He should have got points just for that.
Yeah. Well, he did. He didn't get points when he didn't hit his second dunk. I think Christian Joe a little shaken up, so he'll go to the bench.
That could be something you could do in the Catholic League, right? Dunk contest. How many?
That would be fun.
You could put probably every Hayes guy into that.
Oh, yeah. I think the only thing that Cole Anthony was missing from that dunk contest was, like, if he would have dunked with the bacon, egg, and cheese in his mouth. Right? He had the Timbs. He had the backpack.
Kaba with the layup. Some contact and the foul. Little showing his strength.
Yeah, window dressing time for Stepinac. Playing well, wire to wire. And now 2.5 minutes away from their third straight city final appearance.
Now, where would that bacon, egg, and cheese come from? Double J, maybe?
Like Double J's, yeah.
Well, I don't know. Free throw, good.
I don't know the Cleveland cuisine.
There's no way it's going to be anything quite like you get in New York.
No.
Bottom line.
Of course not, no.
Like, I don't even know if they know that as something. I don't know if, like, Cole Anthony has brought that to their attention yet. Jeffrey hands off. Gets it back. Nice job to create separation, and a good jumper by Jeffrey. He's got 15. Baez pulls up from the foul line. And they'll call a foul underneath on Little.
Yeah, Jeffrey's been one of the bright spots for Bishop Loughlin today. Unfortunately, Loughlin just undermanned against the full-scale assault of Stepinac Crusaders.
And Jeffrey back to the line. Certainly they're not thinking it there, but we can think it for them considering the time and score. But as the front end of the 1-and-1 misses, but we'll stay here. Again, future's got to be bright, right? When you think of it, I'm sure Ed Gonzalez will be disappointed to have lost this game, but when he takes a few steps back from this game and kind of assesses the end of this season, you've got so many guys, including number 5, Christian Jeffrey, back next year. So Loughlin will once again be among those contenders in Brooklyn, Queens, and in the city.
Jeffrey returns. Rahman returns. Sanders returns. Kaba returns.
More
returns. That's a good base for Bishop Loughlin, who has not exactly had a lack of talent over the years. The thing, though, is that these programs just go through lulls, and if this is a lull for Bishop Loughlin, they're in a good spot.
Ritvo, the corner three, his second triple of this game, extending the lead to 69-47. Jeffrey goes inside and finishes there. And that's again, right, with his ability to play outside, the strength as well to bring it inside. Ritvo again for three, no good. And Massaroni will be calling off the dogs. Jeffrey fouled on the way up.
So he'll go to the line, and Jeffrey can run up the score for his individual total, but I'll tell you what, Brooklyn Queens is going to be fun over the next few years, too.
Christ the King was very young.
Well, and you'd imagine, you've got Kion Anthony in the wings waiting, the son of Carmelo Anthony. Joe Arbitello's teams always show up in the playoffs. St. Francis Prep could be the reigning city champions next year. And, of course, Bishop Loughlin, and we didn't mention Malloy either, or Zavarian.
I mean, when you look at the Christ the King, I mean, they had Markel Alston was a freshman, right?
Mm-hmm.
running the show as that point guard as his second free throw goes. Really loved the game, too, of Pong Quinfong, and he's a guy to keep an eye out for as well. To the cup. Some extra time. How about Cole Decker getting two? Final minute. Jeffrey. Tap put back inside by Moore. He's in double figures now with 10.
Yeah, last chance press as well, and the final 48. Good experience for these guys out there too. Be on the floor when your team clinches a finals appearance berth.
Finish, and the foul by Moore.
Yeah, Marino just working hard on Moore, playing till the final whistle. I'm interested to see the playing style for Loughlin next year, because you could see that they can run, but if you've got a bigger guy like Moore down low, he's got a slim enough figure where he can run 94 feet, or if he develops a post game, do you slow it down? Does he bang with the other bigs in Brooklyn Queens? A lot of options for Gonzalez.
Options are a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Missing inside was Jahai Gary, the football wide receiver. Interior pass off the mark. Final 26 seconds of this one. Runner in the lane, no good. Jeffrey now kind of playing like a point forward ahead of the field, and this time Gary will finish. So Gary gets in the scorebook. Rahman misses at the cup. Jeffrey, two more for him.
Gonzalez just called a timeout with 4 seconds left. I think he just wants to get this guy's off. Not sure what the timeout is for. Maybe just, a chance for them to reflect on the season and, one more time together. And now it's a full timeout. So, good teaching lesson for Ed Gonzalez. Maybe perhaps you tell them, hey, remember this feeling, and, we'll be back here in the future again. And you have to remember, Dylan, a lot of these programs have gone through, obviously, the pandemic, and, for them, this will be the last time that they'll be on the court together this year, and what a year it's been for them. And we've got one more great game coming up next.
Yeah, St. Francis Prep, BQ1. They defeated these Lions of Loughlin in the Brooklyn Queens Championship. And Cardinal Hayes. You can see the Cardinals waiting in the wings. There they are, dying to get on the court for warm-ups, and that should be a fun one. That is an 8 o'clock tip.
Love the road unis for the Hayesmen.
Yeah, we haven't really seen them, right? I mean, this year they were the home team, obviously, just about every time that we saw them. Long pass. I guess if you will go long to a wide receiver, right?
Yeah.
And Gary, incomplete pass. So let's go the other way.
Yeah, so one last possession. Bryce McPherson on, as well as Nico Trafton.
Defending by Marino.
But, Dylan, I'll tell you what. The effort out of Stepinac tonight, there's no reason to believe that, regardless of who they play, why they can't be the favorite in that game. But I can't wait to see the next one.
So Stepinac wins this one 73-57. They improve to 26-3, and they book their spot back in the championship game. Bishop Loughlin falls to 15-12. Great performance by Stepinac, and now this is one of the pleasures of having the win in the first semifinal is they can just chill now and just watch the next game, right, and let them sweat it out. We'll be joined now by the Varsity Media player of the game. It is Isaiah Alexander, and Isaiah, Dylan Butler, John Perez here. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
And listen, you're in the championship game, right? Survive and advance. How does that feel?
I mean, it feels great, man. I transferred here last year, and, we have a very great culture here, and we have a great group of guys. So, Coach all year has been saying, win all the championships we can possibly get, and I have a great group of guys around me, great coaches, so it feels awesome.
What was working so well for you guys in the first half that allowed you to pull away pretty early?
We moved the ball very well, and we have great chemistry, so we always stay together. I feel like there's always a point in the game where a team will hit a rough patch, and I feel like we hit our rough patch, but we work over it very well because we play together. So I think that's what it was.
Obviously, to a great balance for your team, right? Where, it allows Coach Massaroni to kind of run in rotations, right? Where there's so many different guys. A lot of guys get minutes. Fresh legs come in. Is that one of the things that makes this team so special, that you have so many guys who can step up?
Absolutely. And everybody's so versatile. It's not one person that's set on the block or on the wing. Everybody can do everything. And once again, it just goes back to the teamwork. So I feel like it really does help us, and I think that's why we've been able to win and be so successful. You're
going to get Hayes or you're going to get St. Francis Prep? Regardless of who you play, what are you guys going to need to do to take that crown?
Continue to do the same thing that we've been doing. Great chemistry, so we got to stay together, great teamwork. Go over, scout, practice hard, stay locked in, be focused, and we'll get the job done.
You beat both of those teams this year, but also Hayes beat you in the first matchup there. A little bit of a rivalry there as well. What million-dollar question here? Who do you want to see?
Doesn't really matter, man. We got to win. So if we got Hayes, if we got St. Francis Prep, we got to prepare, and you got to win. You got to get the job done no matter who it is.
That is a senior answering there, realizing maybe what his coach wants to hear as well. Isaiah, congratulations on a great game, on a great season, and reaching the championship game.
I appreciate you, boss. Thank you.
All right, Isaiah Alexander.
He's going to be a CEO one day.
Absolutely. The Varsity Media player of the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the Coach of the Year, Mr. Jimmy Lynch.
So they're doing some awards here at halftime, and Jimmy Lynch, the Coach of the Year in the AA, and that is an incredible accomplishment as well when we talk about all the different coaches and the amazing coaches in this league. But Jimmy Lynch, of course, learning as well from Tim Leary, the late great Tim Leary, and credits so much of what he's done, dresses like him as well, but now the players as well being introduced. These are first team all CHSAA players right now being introduced.
Yeah, and just a huge pool of talent as well. And, you see Christian Jeffrey, Zavarian getting some representation as well, Nazir Muhammad, Fierce as well from Christ the King. And, oh, man, I'd love to see, I don't know what the logistics are or whatever, but you mentioned the dunk contest. This would be a fun all-star game to watch as well.
Yes, it would be. And now they'll take a team picture or a group picture, I should say. Now they'll do the second team as well.
You know, Dylan, obviously the city championship is the #1 goal for these players and these coaches. But there's no doubt that everybody that was named to this team, whether it's first, second, or third team, that was a goal in mind for them. So congratulations to them as well for achieving their goals and working hard this year, especially coming back after virtually not having a year. Probably one of the toughest years, and I think that's the one thing that a lot of viewers out there, certainly the parents know, but I think viewers that don't have their children enrolled student athletes, is that, you know, a lot of these students, the last time that they either played ball or were in school was either when they were in 8th grade or just a freshman. You know, can you imagine losing a year and a half of your high school experience? You know, it's very tough, and these kids, not only did they lose that, but, you know, losing out on the opportunity to show out in front of other coaches and, get their name on the map, and a good accomplishment for them.
So they actually went backwards, right? So they went third team, second team, and now this is the first team.
Yeah.
All CHSAA. We saw Briscoe before, Fland, Gibbs, Ian Jackson as well. Brandon Williams from Christ the King, and of course the player of the year, the big man from Cardinal Hayes, Tobe Awaka.
Awaka's going to be fun to watch in this game that we got coming up in about 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, listen, he's been a matchup. There's not been a team in the CHSAA this year who's had someone to match him.
Right.
Like, he's been a man among boys so often. The question, though, is do you feed him, right? Can you get him inside? Or is he just going to get his points on putbacks, right? So I'm sure that's something that Coach Loads and Coach Philp have probably talked about, getting the ball, kicking it inside, and then maybe working out, right? They're so much of a perimeter-based team with incredible perimeter players, but got to kick it inside and maybe bring it back outside.
You know, and that's something that I'm sure Jimmy Lynch has also been wondering about too. And he had his work cut out for them, but yeah, it's going to, you know, Hayes, like Stepinac, they've just got so many options. You're right. You could throw it into Awaka, and Awaka, biggest guy on the floor, obviously stature-wise, he'll dive for a ball. He'll go, he'll deflect passes, does everything right. And he is the heartbeat of that Hayes offense, in my opinion.
An incredible collection of talent in this Catholic League this year, the best of the best in the return to regular basketball, if you will, right, in the Catholic League.
I wish they smiled more, though. And I was the same way when I was 16. I get it. You're a competitor. You can't show any weakness. I get it. But maybe this is just my own personal issue. I look back at pictures that I took when I was 18, and I was like, yeah, would it have killed you to smile?
Some scoring from the first game before we finish up here for Bishop Loughlin. Leading the way was Christian Jeffrey with 19 points. Moore with 13. And Joe with 12. Boogie Fland ended up with 19. Isaiah Alexander with 12. And Carbuccia with 9. So again, your final score, Archbishop Stepinac with a 73-57 win. The Crusaders are into the Catholic AA championship game. Who will they play? That will be determined next. 8 o'clock tonight, opening tip as Cardinal Hayes takes on St. Francis Prep. Should be an incredible game. For my broadcast partner, John Perez, and our entire crew here on the Varsity Media Sports Network, we thank you for joining us from this Catholic AA semifinal game presented by Maspeth Federal Savings on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.